All right, so let's talk about success and tips and tricks and strategies that ultimately there are so many platforms that offer, coaching, advising. People offer these things for free. I'm doing it right here. What is the most searched strategic plan on the internet? It's what is a billionaire's daily routine. A billionaire's daily routine. Okay, so first of all, let me break it down for you. First of all, it doesn't matter. Oddly enough, that's the most searched thing on the internet. But even though it's the most searched thing in search engines, it isn't even effective for everyone. Okay, now let's break down the reality of how we're all different. And first of all, we're all different. We all have different mentalities. We all have different structures. We have different quirks, things that work for us, things that slow us down, hold us back, motivate us, all these different perspectives, right? All these different things that make us who we are and make us good or bad at what we're trying to do, right? So if you're struggling to get things off, right? And you're like, man, I need some help. I'm going to get on the internet and search and say, hey, somebody help me, help me get on track and get to where I need to go, right? But you search what a billionaire's routine is. Okay, let's just look at the fact that you're not a billionaire yet. Otherwise, you wouldn't be seeking help. A billionaire's daily routine is probably different than when they were trying to get their business off the ground. When they were trying to launch their business, they were probably doing things a lot differently. You can look at anybody, Kiyosaki, Dave Ramsey, Grant Cardone, Dan Locke, all these different people, they have different ideas of what they did at one point versus what they do today. Mark Cuban's talked about it multiple times, about what he did. He lived, breathed, ate. Everything that he consumed was his business when he was trying to get things off the ground. He literally was just scraping by, just trying to survive. So did so many others. Dan Locke talks about when he was coding and stuff, and when he's copywriting. Back when he was doing copywriting and stuff, he would work 30 and 40 hours straight. He's very much said he will never do that again because he doesn't have to. He's got the money and the cash flow. He's got the money and the cash flow now that he no longer worries about that. He doesn't have to work at 30, 40 hours straight just to get things off the ground, just to get a name for himself, just to get something moving. Now, so if you're that guy, you're trying to get things moving, then you operating the way a billionaire or a millionaire, or let's just take out the equation of money. Let's just say a person who's already successful. Now, there's something to be said about trying to imitate what is working, right? I mean, you're like, okay, well, they're obviously successful. What they're doing is working, but they do it differently now than they did then. So if you start working now, look at a great book. Tim Ferriss wrote The 4-Hour Work Week, right? Dude, he built a business. He built a business. He built a huge business before he ever broke it down to working 4 hours a week. So the motivation behind said book, if you actually have ever read it or you even heard about it, if you haven't, the motivation behind said book was that he was working so much, he was trying to figure out, he was stretched so thin with his business, and he got to the point that he was frustrated and he got burnt out. And so he took his family on vacation and he was like, I'm leaving for 2 weeks, something like that. And then he decided at the end of said vacation, he wasn't ready to go back. And then, so he stayed longer. And then when he stayed longer, he decided he wanted to stay even longer. And then he decided he wanted to stay even longer. And so as it added more and more time, it got to the point where he finally went back and his business wasn't failing. So he started questioning himself, how much is he taking upon himself and how much could he just allow to be delegated and how much could he just stop doing because his business is finally thriving in a way that he no longer has to fight for every inch that he's going to get. So then he finally calculated everything out, figured everything out, and he figured out that he could work 4 hours a week. He could work 4 hours a week just to keep things going. But he didn't do that in the very beginning. And the reality is a 4-hour work week only works with tangible products. It doesn't work if you're an influencer or a trader, an investor. I mean, ultimately you've got to put some time. Anything that takes skill. You obviously can't be a seasoned, experienced electrician or mechanic or something like this working 4 hours a week. Doing service, you can't break it down like that. Only selling a product can you? Okay, so the reality is you can't gauge everything. Now, take the 4-hour work week. Take, 10X, written by Grant Cardone. Take Unlock It or FU Money by Dan Lok. These are all great books. These are books that offer you some insight. In Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. These are all great books. Great books that'll give you insight into what you can do to get yourself on the right track, what you can do. And they also talk about different stages. Different ones talk about different stages of in the beginning, when you're launching a business, once you have a viable business, and where you go from here and there. Okay, but you Googling something so simple as what is a billionaire's daily routine? First of all, like I said, we're all different. Their routine may not work for you. It may not work for you. Now it might. But what if it doesn't? What if you don't operate the same as they do? And secondly, what does their daily routine have to do with their business? Well, some people believe in the mentality that, a clear and motivated and healthy mind is a platform to really build and develop your business. I actually absolutely believe that. But that doesn't mean that my process works for you, or that their process works for you, or that your process would work for me. Because we all have different backgrounds. We have different things that distract us, different things that motivate us. Some people, I'm a person who I've constantly got lots of ideas running through my head, constantly got things going. So I need some noise in the background. So my boys actually help me sometimes more than they even know, just because they're running around, things are chaotic, things are noisy, and it helps me hone in and focus on the thing that I'm doing right there. Because if it's too quiet and I'm focused on this thing, I'm trying to focus on this thing, my mind starts getting distracted with other thoughts. And so I start writing notes down. And before you know it, I'm doing more note taking about ideas that I want to remember for later than actually focusing on what I'm doing right now. Now that is absolutely necessary at certain times, but when I really need to get something done, that noise is helpful. It really is. It's therapeutic to me. It keeps my mind like lasered in on the thing that I'm doing right there. Otherwise, my mind will run amok, man. It'd be all over the place. And if my boys aren't here, my boys are doing school, sometimes I put the earbuds in. Sometimes I put music on. Sometimes I literally will even put on Netflix in the background, something I've seen a million times, something I absolutely have no desire to, or no need to really watch or pay attention to right now. But it's literally just background noise over here that I can focus right here. And that noise is keeping my ears busy, so that way my brain can focus. Most people don't work like that. Most people think it's crazy that I work like that. And that's fine. That's okay. That's why I'm not telling you to work like that. But so when you look up someone, oh, well, what's someone's routine? What do? Well, they get up at 5 a.m., they take a cold shower, then they have a hearty breakfast, then they do. Is that going to help you? My son, Corey, sometimes he gets up and he is mega hungry. I mean, he is a growing boy, and he will get up and he will eat like a good old Texas boy. You ain't even questioning. I mean, that boy will eat. But then there's other days where he wakes up and he's like, I'm just not feeling it. I really just want to go get a jump on my school. I want to go do this, or I want to go do that. I'm not hungry right now. But you know what? In an hour and a half, he'll come back and he'll eat. So sometimes that routine and that structure, I'm not saying it's not important, but for some people, they need a little bit of flexibility. So you looking up somebody's routine, how is it going to help you be successful? I'm a person, I don't mind cold showers, but I do enjoy a hot shower. I do. I absolutely enjoy a hot shower, but a cold shower is invigorating. It's there are times when I dig a cold shower. Do I routinely take cold showers? No, absolutely not. It's not for me. But for some people, it totally works for them. It just refreshes their day and gets them, Kimberly, man, if she took a cold shower, she would not be happy. She'd wake up miserable jumping in a cold shower. And I know lots of people, if they jumped in a cold shower first thing in the morning, they would be angry. They would be miserable. They'd start their day off absolutely on the wrong track. So what are we doing? We're Googling what millionaires and billionaires do. Then they tell us a routine and then we say, well, that's stupid. Okay, well then why are we wasting time? Stop looking up people's daily routine and start thinking about putting in the work. Like I said, there's plenty of platforms, there's plenty of places, there's plenty of people out there, motivational speakers, investors, coaches, trainers. There's all these different people that actually put their content out there for free. I'm putting my content out here for free. Several of the people I mentioned earlier, several of them have podcasts. Several of them have YouTube channels. Several of them have blogs. They have these different things. Of course, all of them, like I said, I mentioned several of their books. Their books are absolutely great. And I recommend, I don't know, maybe buying one, maybe downloading one, but I'm not recommending any one. And that's why I'm not trying to name drop like 8 people, but I'm trying to make sure you understand that I'm not endorsing one of these people. I'm telling you that all these different people, they're smart. They're smart, they're educated, they're skilled, and they're sharing their information for free. That's the consistent thing with all of those people that I've mentioned, is that all of them do sell a book. And all of them, yeah, absolutely are making them a living. But most of them are not making their living from books. Most of them are making their living from their investments and their business and their other things. Now, yeah, they do get money from books, but they also give a lot of content for free. And that content for free encourages people to buy a book. Because, you start watching their videos, you start listening to their podcast, you're like, man, this person's pretty smart. Maybe I do want to go buy their book. Maybe I want to download it on my Kindle or, whatever, your iPad, whatever you got. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. The thing is they all offer free content. There's so much free information out there that what it comes down to is you putting in the work, not you Googling the right thing. Not you saying, well, what is their daily routine? And if only I knew their secret, then I could finally be there. No. It's not a secret. That's the thing. It's not a secret. It's not a secret. That's kind of one of the key focuses of several of my posts, is that people think that there's this big, massive secret. Like, oh man, what's the secret? Buffett himself has said in several different seminars and panels that he's been on, at the shareholders meetings and things like that. Buffett has talked about it on dozens of occasions. He's like, I do nothing special. The Oracle of Omaha has told you all what he's doing can be done by you. What he's doing is being done by me. I'm not on his level. I'm not at that scale yet. I have not got the experience or the knowledge that he has. I haven't been reading for the last 60 years because I'm not 60 years old yet. The man's been reading since he was a child, and he's 80. I mean, when you have been reading since you were 5 and you're 83, your knowledge is vast, man. The man is talented and skilled at what he does because he continues to read, and implement the new knowledge he takes in. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to take in more knowledge, and as you take in more knowledge, you've got to implement it. But you've also got to take in viable, some knowledge that you trust. Not just, oh well, this looks cool. It sounds good. No, is it coming from a credible source? What is the most searched? Gosh. The most searched. A billionaire's daily routine. Now, let's break down the silliness of that. Let's say that let's say that what they're giving you, they're telling you, hey, I've been doing this since the very beginning. I've been doing this same routine since way back before I was successful. I've been doing this routine since back when I was eating, a jam sandwich. And if any of y'all have ever been broke, you know what a jam sandwich is, man. You take a piece of white bread, and you jam that mess together, and you call it lunch. Man, I'm telling you, your boy's been there. And I know other people who are millionaires and billionaires, and they've been there. And some people will tell you that they've been doing the same routine since way back then. That routine may not work for you. And the reality is that most of them have adapted. Most of them have learned. Most of them have changed their routine and their plan over time, not just because of their success, but because ultimately they learned certain things worked better at different stages. When you're growing and developing, like Dan Lok is a perfect example. Dan Lok started out as a copywriter. He made most of his wealth copywriting, okay? He did copywriting. He wrote a few books, some of which he's fairly embarrassed about, but he wrote several books, right? Books weren't selling, had a blog, wasn't working, but he was making bank doing copywriting. So he kept thinking, well, I'm copywriting, I can make money doing other things. And he kept trying to do, like I said, blogging, books, all this stuff. And finally he got on YouTube, and YouTube turned a corner for him. And he started getting to another level where he started actually he has classes and stuff all across the world, things like that. But when you go back to it, he started as a copywriter. What he's doing now is very different than where he started. So see, that's what you got to take in too. Now you look at someone like Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone, he started with real estate, and he's still in real estate. Dave Ramsey started in real estate, still in real estate. But that isn't even all Dave Ramsey does anymore. That isn't even his bread and butter anymore. His bread and butter is FPU. His bread and butter is teaching people how to be financially independent, how to do better with their money, and teaching them along the lines of scripture as well. It's like, look, I'm going to teach you what I did wrong and what you could do better so you could learn from my mistakes. And also let's incorporate scripture as a foundation. That's something that's unique to him. That's something that he does. But like I said, he started in real estate. He's still in real estate, but real estate's not his bread and butter. So at the end of the day, when he was just in real estate and he was just growing his business with more and more properties, was his routine probably different than now that he's a man who has a podcast, he does courses, he writes books? His routine's different today because his business is different today. So you have to take in that consideration as well. What is your business? If you're in real estate, is your business going to be similar to, or is your daily plan, your routine, could it be similar to someone else who's doing real estate? Because their business is similar to yours. If you are in real estate and you're trying to look at someone like, well, what's Buffett's daily routine? Buffett's not in real estate. He's not in real estate. Kevin O'Leary, he does have real estate. Not his bread and butter, not his cornerstone, not even 20% of what he does. Do you want to model your routine after someone who does something completely different than what you do? That doesn't make logistical sense. I've got friends and buddies and people who I know that do different businesses. Some of them run their own business, some of them are contracted, some of them are agents, and some of them just work regular 9-to-5 jobs, which is cool too. But all these different people in these different stages and these different kinds of, career paths and fields, how could we all have a similar routine? We don't. And we try to, work in time together. Hey, can we grab lunch? Can we grab a coffee? I'm going to give you a call at this time and, let's catch up. And so, you have to work things out. That's why people have to work things out like that, because ultimately your daily routine changes based on the career that you're doing, based on the business you're running, based on your model that dictates your daily life. In order to be successful as an agent, you have to tailor your life to doing that. My life. Kimberly's a travel nurse right now. And her being a travel nurse, we are traveling with her because we don't want to be separated. We want to all be together. We need that, right? We're a family. The boys are in, they're in a Christian-based online STEM academy. They're doing great. They're essentially teacher-driven or teacher-led homeschool, right? So they do all their classes and stuff. They get all their books and everything shipped to them. They do everything online, and then we mail in all their tests and stuff. They grade them. They send us progress reports and all this stuff, okay? So my business as an investor, as a trader, as an influencer and a content creator, I'm able to tailor my business to them somewhat and then just allow them to be incorporated into my business. It's an interesting dynamic, but not everybody could do the routine that I have. Because I am literally, like the past 2 days, I've been trying to reorganize our things because we're about to be moving. In 2 weeks, we're going to be relocating to another location. And then 2 weeks after that, we're going to be coming back to this location, only to, in 4 weeks after that, be relocating to potentially another city, state, who knows? So it's like our living quarters are very up in the air. So that definitely influences our life. It influences my business. It follows Kimberly's career path, okay? So her career, she's a nurse, and we're following where she's going. But while we're following, my laptop, you know, I trade from my laptop, I work from my phone, and it comes with me. And that means, like, as I'm trading, you know, I trade Forex, I trade Forex, I trade crypto. So at, you know, 10 o'clock at night, you know, in Oregon, when the European market, the London market opens, it's time for me to be live. It's time for me to sit down and be ready to go, you know, be able to hit those keys for a little while and see what things I'm going to be trading and see what things I'm going to be doing for that evening, you know, and I got to do that at least, you know, a good 3-4 nights a week. I got to do that. Okay. So that happens, but the boys are already in bed by that time. You know, me and Kimberly have our arrangements. We work things out around her schedule, around my schedule, and we work things out. So it's like, can your daily routine be, you know, mimicked by someone else? Maybe, but not likely, because we all have so many unique things, unique quirks. Like I said, I do content creating also. My boys have their own YouTube channel, and as they have their own YouTube channel on a daily basis, we're, you know, seeing how we can work in fun adventures. Well, for 2 reasons. First, we're on the road. We're in Oregon right now. We live in Texas. We are in Oregon. We have been traveling. And so we're going to, you know, we're only in each location for like anywhere between 30 and 90 days. So within those 30 to 90 day contracts, we're going to take advantage of whatever we can. We're going to make the most of that moment and that opportunity. So me and the boys, me and Kimberly, we'll figure out where they want to go. We'll take them somewhere. We'll go see something cool that otherwise we can't see elsewhere because we're here, because it's Oregon. So it's cool. And then once they get, you know, they're doing their schoolwork, I got to take the time to be available to help them with quizzes, tests, giving them their classwork, things like that, grading things, filing things, getting things prepared to be shipped off. And then I've got to take the time to, you know, get their, get their content, get their videos that they've made so that way we can upload those. I have a YouTube manager. He's incredible. I have a YouTube manager who does an amazing job. And so when I get these videos, I send him the content. So that way he can do editing, we can get things uploaded, we can get things moving, right? Then I've got to create my own content, right? I've got my videos that I post for y'all. I've got research that I got to do for my next investments. And I incorporate all these things, tailoring around Kimberly's schedule and the boys' schedule. I make time blocks for each thing I'm going to do, for research, for investing, for trading, for content creating, for editing, for software uploading, downloading, transferring, all these different things. All these things take time. All these things consume my time, my attention, my energy, and I literally, like I said, I set time blocks in between the things that they're doing. Otherwise, how would I get it done? How could I possibly do all the things that I'm doing and all the things that they're doing if I didn't work that way? Now, is it possible to take my routine and incorporate it into your situation? Absolutely not. No, I don't believe so. Now, you could prove me wrong. You could absolutely take my routine. I doubt it though. Mine is very much 100% tailored to me and tailored to my situation. And that's what you got to be willing to do. You got to be willing to learn from these people, learn from the experts, the advisors, the influencers, the investors, the entrepreneurs. You got to be willing to learn from these different people who have proven themselves skilled and experienced and knowledgeable. You got to be able to take what works for you, discard the rest, and not worry about it. And then actually put in the work. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is, like I said, everybody thinks there's this like magic secret, right? There's this secret routine or recipe, or it's like, if you just do this, then it'll all work, right? But what most people miss, and I may be talking to you, but I may not. Maybe it's you, maybe it's not. But at the end of the day, what do most people struggle with the most? Putting in the work. That's what it comes down to. Even if they had the most perfect routine, and it would absolutely work for you, because y'all have the same career, y'all have the same mentality, you've got the same distractions, you've got the same motivations. You and this successful person that you're looking up, y'all are on the same wavelength. It's amazing. You both have 2 kids. You both, y'all have, it's working. Are you willing to put in the work? The reason that most people are unsuccessful is not because they're unable to get these things accomplished. They're unable to implement these skill sets. They're unable to achieve this great level of success. They're unwilling to put in the work is what it comes down to. That's it. That's it. The reason there's 1% on the top and there's 99% still fighting is because 80% aren't even fighting. 80% is already thrown in the towel. 80% didn't even want to jump in the ring in the first place. That's it. Now like I said, there may be that 15, 16, 18, 19% that's fighting and they just haven't figured out what works yet. That's life, man. It happens. Some people fight for years to get where they're going. Cuban fought. Cuban's he's a huge success story. Buffett, he's been learning and fighting since he was a kid. So at the end of the day, sometimes you got to fight. And sometimes it's going to take time. So the fact that 15, 18, 19% is still fighting, power to you, man. Keep fighting. Don't give up. Put in that work. You will get there. As long as you're willing to grow, you're willing to learn, you're willing to adapt, you're willing to implement the things you learn along the way. And you've got that fight in you that you're willing to put in that work. If you're willing to put in that work, you can make it happen. Now, the other 80% who doesn't want to put in the work, I ain't mad at you. Some of y'all are just content. Y'all are happy and content with your 9-to-5 job, with your job that's guaranteed money, with your salary that you never have to worry about, am I going to have enough? Some people don't want the stress of building a business. Some people don't want the stress of having employees or deadlines or all these different things. They just want to come in, do their work, know they're getting a paycheck. You know what? That's okay. I ain't mad at you for that. I respect that. I understand that. But when it comes down to it, why is 1% way up here while the other 99% are down there? Like I said, there's a good portion that doesn't want to be moved from their spot. And there's a good portion that's waiting for their spot to be changed instead of being willing to put in the work to change it themselves. If you're going to sit back and wait, you're never going to get there. It's not going to just happen to you. So I say again, what's the most searched strategy on the internet? It is, what is a billionaire's daily routine? And I ask you this, what you know about putting in that work? If you ain't gonna put in the work, it ain't gonna happen. All right. I hope this resonates with some of y'all. I hope y'all take something out of this, and I hope you can really walk away saying, you know what? Maybe I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way because I'm going to keep fighting. I learned something new today, and I'm going to implement it this afternoon. I'm going to implement it right now. I'm going to implement it tomorrow and every day moving forward. And you know what? I'm going to learn some more things too, and I'm going to implement those. Y'all be blessed. Y'all have a most excellent day. Y'all get out there and get cocky and let's make this stuff happen. All right, it's your boy Corey B. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, get your notifications. I got more coming at y'all. I'm out.